All right, let's talk about a word we've all heard a million times, probably since we were kids: curriculum. Now, you'd think it's pretty simple, right? It's just the stuff we learn in school. But, as we're about to find out, the story behind this word is way more complicated, and honestly, it reveals a huge identity crisis right at the heart of modern education. So let's get into it.
Okay, so before we go any further, just take a second. When I say curriculum, what's the first thing that pops into your head? A big binder full of lesson plans? A list of subjects like math and history? Maybe just a stack of textbooks? Whatever it is, hold that thought, because we're going to see how that one simple idea got twisted, challenged, and totally transformed over the years.
For a very, very long time, this was it. This was the entire definition. Simple, clean. The whole job of educators was to figure out what knowledge was the most important and then, organize it for students. History, math, science. The what was absolutely king. But then, things started to change.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. A brand new, really powerful question pops up, and it completely splits how we think about education. It basically turns that simple, old definition right on its head.
This slide right here, this captures the entire battle in one shot. The whole focus of education just tilted. It went from being all about what we teach, the content and the knowledge, to suddenly being all about how we teach, the methods, the psychology, the student. And believe me, this wasn't just some small tweak. This was a full-blown revolution in thinking.
So how in the world did this happen? Well, you've got these big thinkers, guys like Jean-Jacques Rousseau and John Dewey, who come along and totally shake things up. They argued that, hey, maybe education isn't just about dumping information into kids' heads. They said we have to actually think about the child, what they're interested in, how they develop, their psychology. And that, right there, was a game changer. It pushed the entire conversation towards teaching methods and the individual kid.
But here's the thing about big shifts. They can have some really unexpected consequences. As the how got more and more important, the word curriculum started to get a little fuzzy. It started to mean, well, pretty much everything and anything to do with school. And it kind of lost its way.
This visual just says it all, doesn't it? The entire conversation in education became almost completely dominated by how to teach. All the talk about teaching styles, learning psychology, student needs, it took up 90% of the oxygen in the room. And that left almost no space to talk about the really fundamental question: what knowledge is actually important enough to teach in the first place?
And the end result was this big conceptual mess. The whole idea of curriculum just lost its unique job. Was it psychology? Was it sociology? Was it just a fancy word for teaching tricks? By trying to be everything all at once, the field of curriculum was in real danger of becoming nothing special at all.
Okay, so it's a bit of a mess. How do we fix it? Well, according to the educational theorist Kieran Egan, who is pretty much our guide for this entire explainer, the answer isn't to just go back to the old days. It's about finding a much healthier balance.
And here's his central argument. Egan is basically saying that by getting so hyper-focused on the how, we've kind of lost the plot. We've got all these amazing, sophisticated teaching methods, but we're not being nearly as careful about what we're actually teaching with them. We've got to bring the what back into the spotlight.
So the path forward isn't about picking a side in this what versus how battle. It's about realizing that you need both. They're like two pillars holding up the entire structure of education. We absolutely have to have these serious, deep conversations about what content we teach, and then we can use all our amazing knowledge of methods to teach it really, really well.
And this is the dream. This is the goal. A perfect 50-50 partnership where content and method are given equal respect. A system where the what provides the substance and the purpose, and the how is what makes all that substance engaging and meaningful and actually stick with the students.
So, after this whole journey, from that simple old definition to the modern identity crisis and back, where do we end up? What should we really be thinking of when we hear that word, curriculum?
This right here is the big takeaway. A really powerful curriculum isn't just a boring list of subjects, and it's not just a grab bag of teaching tricks either. It's the whole package. It's the powerful, balanced combination of both. It's the complete study of how we choose the most important knowledge and how we bring that knowledge to life for learners.
And that leaves us with one last really big question for you to chew on. When you look at the schools around you, from kindergarten all the way up to universities, do you see that balance? Or do you think one side, either the what or the how, has kind of taken over?
Getting that balance right might just be the most important challenge in education today. It's something to think about for sure. Thanks for joining me.